Bam! You'll notice three things. One, I got the same shirt on from last night. Two, the video comes like what, 10 hours from the last video? Three, yeah, three. I'm in a different spot, but on the same path. It's like a life thing. Same spot, different, or should be a different spot. Anyway, I just finished my book. I walked to my mom's new house, and we were talking. I feel weird talking to my mom at the grave because she's dead, you know. And you're technically looking down, and if you believe in that people go to heaven, you should be looking up, but you're looking down, and that's where hell is, and it's kind of... But yeah, I was just telling her, you know, basically what I made in the last video. Actually, I didn't tell her all that because, again, I feel weird having a conversation. Because then again, if my mom was like a spirit, she's seen everything because she was watching. Because, you know, I don't know what people be doing in heaven. They be like just watching people, I guess. Anyway, so, and I was listening to my audiobook and I finished it. And now I'm going to walk to the park and have a little talk and walk with you guys. And then after that, I didn't charge my phone last night because I went home and I was just like, and I just went to bed. And then this morning I charged it. I do love the new iPhone, what am I, 12, I guess? Because it charges really fast, man. Because I got my iPhone 9, iPhone 7, iPhone 6. And it dies in like 4 hours. And all I do is charge it and leave it on the thing. And when I come back, it's dead already. So yeah, get yourself an upgraded phone for the battery life. But ew, look at, there they are again. Wow. Man, I can't, well, when the bugs stop flying in my face, it'll be really cold. But anyway, so so I finished the book, and it I wish, if I have one wish, other people read the book with me at the same time. I mean, the book came out in 2009, so it's buried, and the big hubbub about it is probably past. As usual, I'm after the fact, but I probably wouldn't have been like, I'm not a bandwagon type of person. If everyone's doing it, like if everyone was on this trail, I would not be on the trail. You know me. But after finishing the book, it kind of made sense. In the beginning, because he's throwing out some like teleological. Like, what the hell is a teleological? Never heard it, but it means purpose. The telos, which I believe that would be Greek. So for my new job, teaching little kids to read, we're learning about the origin of words, and but I don't got too much time. My battery's gonna die. But yeah, telos comes from, I want to say Greek, and Greek philosophy, blah blah blah, and it's usually about these kind of things. So if you knew, I mean, it's fascinating, whatever. So the telos, purpose, and basically how I took it, not the issue, the concern with most arguments in the modern world, and I would probably say in the non-modern world, it's three things. And it's crazy because we already know this, or we feel it. But there was a group that actually made a song about it, and it was called Money, Power, Respect was the Key to Life by the Lox, Lil' Kim. And the problem is, how do we distribute money, power, and respect fairly across the board. And that's where all the issues kind of come up. For example, one debate, and this is off, I don't be writing this shit down. So you know how some people in the women's basketball, they don't get paid as much as men's basketball. And it's not equal. Now, the argument on one side, well, we bring in more fans, more money, more revenue, therefore. But on the other side, well, we work just as hard as you guys, so therefore. But that's a money thing, how to distribute it so both sides are happy. But it's not going to happen because each side can argue their points, and they will. So that'd be a money thing. Power. We could put power with prestige, award, recognition. So how many times have you heard black artists say, it's not fair, I didn't get this award? Like the grant, I don't follow this shit, but they're upset because they didn't get the prestige of that award. They might have had the Black Rapper Award or Trap Award, but they didn't get this award. And you saw this argument play out all the time. Or it could be on some group thing, like this group of people have more better jobs. But if you think about it, everything boils down to money, power, respect. How it's metered out, how it's distributed. And, you know, it's like, check this one out. The court justice, they make about $200,000, give or take. Judge Judy makes about, 13 million a year or some shit, give or take. Is it equal? Like, is her job more important than the justice's job? But that's how it's distributed. When I was in community college, I really got interested, and it was a social. It basically was this topic. It was sociology, and I really was. It just, wow! I didn't think of stuff this way. It really was exciting, right? But the rest of the class, they sucked, and I don't say this to be like, but they did. For whatever reason, sociology was not their cup of tea. I mean, to give you perspective, we had to read Malcolm X, right? We didn't have to read the whole book. She's like, you just read this passage and that passage and one line from this chapter and then write about it. But once I started reading it, I just had to finish it, because how are you gonna? So I finished the book, and then, you know, when I wrote my report, I'm throwing in all of it, because so when it came time to get grades, or before that, some of the kids were like, students, they're like, you know, we shouldn't have to read this book. It's not very nice to us. It's kind of racist. But, you know, if you know the story of Malcolm X, he was one way, and then he goes off to Africa, and he came back another way. He changed. But the first part, it's kind of like, but it's no different from reading Huckleberry Finn or all the great classics or watching any cartoons back in the day. And now they're gone. You know, whatever. So they're trying to boycott her. If it would have been now, she would have got like canceled. But so when it came, so when I wrote my paper, I remember she came in and she's like, I'm disappointed in the class. The grades were really low. And because I don't want you guys to fail, I'm going to curve it. And when I got my grade back, I was above the curve. And I was kind of upset. You don't got to curve my shit. Now, I'm happy to get the bump in the grade. It'll help out. But I did the work, and I thought it was unfair to let them, which is the same argument they're making about like tuition reimbursement or canceling student debt. Now, I fall in that camp. I was the first in my family to go. I got all the predatory loans. And then, you know, it is what it was. But my kind of thing is, it's my debt. I didn't have to go to school. I went to school because of the great American dream to balance the money, power, respect thing. But, on the other side, there's some working hard ass family that's like, yeah, we busted our ass. And then when you were 16, you busted your ass. And then when you got out of college, you busted your ass and you paid it off. So it's unfair that these other people, me, didn't do that. And that's a valid argument. Now me, I'm on the side. If the money's coming, I'm going to take it, or I'm not going to argue. No. Now my dad, he did that. You remember the COVID checks, Corona checks? When they came to the house, he's like, I don't want it. I don't deserve it. And he didn't take it. He gave it back. Or maybe mom took it. But yeah, it to me, it's a fascinating prospect. I never thought of it in this way. And the book goes into morals, right? Morals tend to be on a religious tip. So now you're getting so deep into a person's psyche, I guess. So when you are disagreeing with a person, you're disagreeing with their life, like to separate it. Everything they stand on, all their values. It's like if they're standing on top of this thing, and as you pull away their pillars of understanding, you're actually putting them on shaky ground. In essence, destroying them. And I think somehow that's what I do when I'm arguing or debating or discussing with people. Because I'm looking at what they're standing on, the pillars. And I'm curious. If your pillars aren't shaky, then you're unshaky. And whatever you're saying does not shake me. Because you're shaky. But yeah, man, it was fascinating. And now, after reading this book, it's like I got a super boost of conceptual. Now, it puts me at odds again, because the next time I'm having an argument with someone, I'm pulling out, well, what you don't understand is the telos of your argument is not based on anything. I'm going to lose them. And this is everyone, unless they read the book or that's their thing. And then just, because I never try to use words that I either learned from a book or words that are outside the scope of whoever I'm talking to. I'm not that. But now it's going to put me, because I can't unlearn this, like this. So I'm almost scared to go deeper into these moral philosophers, because they spent most of their lifetimes debating the topics that we debate today, but in passing. For example, I saw that Missy Elliott said something about making a hit and making a classic. And Nicki Minaj's fans were upset about that. But this is the same argument with Drake and Jay-Z. So one group is saying, well, I pioneered that shit, because when I came out, they weren't even fucking with hip-hop like that. And we opened the doors for you to come in, which is true. But now that the doors are open and things are the way they are, I think Justin Bieber surpassed Michael Jackson in sales. Cardi B got it. Like, these are like huge things, but it's because of now. So again, it's a money, power, respect thing. Should they be respected as the greatest, that title, the prestige of having the greatest affixed to your name, when they didn't do as much work as the predecessors before them? And then they're saying, well, you can't judge rappers by how much money they make. Well, then in the same argument, can you judge rappers by the hardship they endured? And it's fascinating to me, because I'm human, and when I'm on YouTube and I'm looking and I see like some 5-year-old making beats, and the beats, I can't deny, they're hot beats as he sits in his hot studio. How the hell does a 5-year-old have a hot studio? But if I had a child, he would have access to my equipment, and I would want to make sure he knows how to use it, and I would set up cameras to do what I gotta do. But how fair is that to me? I had to buy my equipment. I had to get it, learn it. In a household that doesn't value, again, money, power, sex, they don't value the pursuit of music excellence. So I'm going against the grain. Where this little kid, I forget his name's Miles. You could look him up. He does like these covers, right? And he'll be like, he'll pull out a violin and be like, then he'll jump over to a guitar, boom, 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 then a bass guitar, and then he'll hop onto the computer, like a Mac, the little cheese grate looking one. And then he'll just be like, and then I'm gonna put the compression on. And then if you look right next to him, he has this little juice box, which it's like a paid partnership. Now don't take it the wrong way. I have no hate for little dude. I think he's gonna kill it, or he's gonna hate the whole music thing, because you know how that goes. Maybe the parents are pushing him and he's just like, fuck that, I want to be a football player. And he's like, no, I didn't work so hard for you to be again. But it's irrelevant. That's his circumstances, and he's also competing with all the other 5-year-olds who have fathers and mothers who want them to take in their steps and push them. I saw this debate. It was it's like a Instagram that shows production tips and music shit. And I only saw the backlash, or the post responding to the backlash. So apparently they posted a video of some female producer showing off her studio, and her boobs were hanging out. And the producer's like, that's not fair. She's just showing her boobs, and it's not really about the music. Now you hear this argument all the time. Because I make a video, I'm doing what I do. Or let's say it's just a pure music video. Look at me, I'm making beats. And then I'm scrolling and I see another person making comparable style music, comparable equipment, but they just happen to be half naked. And I can't judge, because maybe that's how they go about in their life. Or maybe they know the algorithm favors the thirsty guys that's gonna click on it. So if you look down in the comments, you get some, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful. Some, wow, your beats are nice. And some, you're just showing your tits. But either or, they get like hundreds of thousands of views, which might be enough to get Pete Rock to post her on his page, because that's what he does. Again, it's the power prospect. Some people don't feel that it's fair that she's getting more attention outside of the music aspect. But then how is that any different from, for whatever reason, you have access to a beat machine, or access or time or the ability to learn it. So you got 20 years to make beats, and now you're out there killing it. And then someone who starts making beats today, they have the disadvantage that you see where I'm going with this? Like, across the board, there's really no fair way. Now, there is one idea that came up. I forget his name, but his idea was just to get rid of all of the prestige. I mean, this was applied to gay marriages and straight marriages. So one argument is, okay, gay marriages are okay, straight marriages okay, we legalize all of them. The other one is, gay marriages are out, but straight marriages are in. And then the third option is, we can you say delegalize? We unlegalize? Nothing's legal. We leave it up to the people. And then in that way, there would be no argument, because everyone would just, you get the rights and whatever from your organization, and everyone's happy. But then the question isn't so much about everyone being happy, it's people want the right. Which, my mind's being blown by all this as I'm reading this. And that's why I'm sharing it, because maybe it'll spark somebody out there who'll be like, wow, I never thought of that. and then we'll have like these private conversations. Could only hope. But another instance of that, I mean, this book was about is justice, so that's all they talk about. There was a case of the cheerleader, which is nice because I just came back from a football game yesterday. But there was a case of the cheerleader who was in the wheelchair. She had some disability where she was in a wheelchair, but she was on the cheers. She was a cheerleader in a thing, and she would ride her wheelchair and she would hype the crowd up. And then the captain, the father of the captain's father was upset because, you know, the newspaper was like, yeah, the cheerleaders, and this one we'll call her Lisa, who's in the wheelchair, is the most inspiring cheerleader of all. So maybe the daughter Becky, she goes home and she's just like, Dad, it's not fair. You know how hard I work to do my splits and Lisa in the wheelchair, she's getting all the praise. It's not fair. So then the dad's like, that's right. So he goes and he sues her. He gets her kicked off the team under the basis of she's not a real cheerleader. She did not put the work in to be a cheerleader. And then it jumps around to different courts, and they broke it down to the telos. What is the purpose of a cheerleader? It's to excite the crowd. The dad argued that if she can't do splits and flips and all that, she's not, because the telos for him, the purpose of a cheerleader is to be acrobat and get the crowd excited. But the counter argument was she excites the crowd in her own way. But the overall argument is that would take away the purpose of what a cheerleader means, the status. If anyone can excite the crowd in any way they want, then why bother to learn how to do all that stuff? And the same thing happened. I mean, this happens all the time. And most of us could care less about these non-related to what we do things. It's only when they kind of overlap into our... Here, let me make it more relevant. So when I started making videos on YouTube, I didn't know there was people who watched YouTube. I didn't know you can get power, money, or respect. Because within my circles, I didn't get any power because they could care less about me making videos. So I didn't get any shows. Money, nobody was paying me because Google didn't have that in place yet. And respect, people did not respect YouTubers. They still don't. Unless you're super big, then you kind of move into movies or TV or whatever. So I wasn't getting any of that. But my telos very early on was to help and educate young urban looking folks to let them know that there's opportunities outside where they live. Beautiful purpose, mission statement. Didn't get me shit, but that's what kept me making all those videos. Life goes on, and then I stumble onto this random guy, and I'm like, shit, this guy like 8 million. Actually, we weren't doing millions back then, but he had thousands of views, and his shit is whack. I'm working so hard, and I got a purpose, and this motherfucker is just... So I felt it was distributed unfairly, but it's almost a free market in a sense. Not really, because early YouTube people actually made the playlist like a Spotify kind of thing, and there was like a home page, and random people would be like, okay, this guy, I'm gonna put him or her on the front page, which would drive traffic because you would click. And they used to have a top 100 list, and you know how we always be clicking number 1 on the Google idea. You know, people usually don't go to the second page of Google when you search. So if you rank number 1, 2, 3, you're good. If you rank 11, then you better pay for them ads or some shit. So it wasn't a fair system. And then, anyway, so I got upset. But you know, I just kept doing my thing. I did it harder. and I started reading up on shit like I do, and figuring out how to make it better. I read on how to make sitcoms. I watched all the comedies from Richard Pryor, Dave Chappelle. Like, you don't know the amount of work that I was putting in to get. Y'all thought that was random. Shit, there was a couple books, early books on how to make better YouTube channels. And if you notice, my shit got better. Anyway, so then I get to the point where now some of the bigger YouTubers know of me. And at this point, I noticed that they are getting money. And every time they had the little YouTube parties, they would get the shirts and they would get the whatever. And I'm like, I ain't getting shit. So then I made my video. I'm like, yeah, it seems like the YouTube community out here doesn't care about rappers, which is kind of saying they don't care about black people. Not that there's not white rappers, but it was taken that way. And it's a little mini debate. And so that's how it's. I wanted some money, power, respect, because I felt I deserved it. But there's more to most things than what we usually think, right? Like, I didn't go to any of the parties, and I didn't brown nose any of the people of the who's, which, you know, that's something I don't tend to do. And I don't want to go all the way up here. I ain't going all the way up there. You know why? Because my phone is gonna die, and I don't want to be walking with no music. Although I do ponder shit in quietness. But yeah, man, so long story longer, most of the issues that we have, money, power, respect, the lack of, or the thing. And it's fascinating to me. Fascinating. Because at the end of the day, it's not fair. Because half of this equation is you didn't do anything. Like, if you were endowed with physical attributes or a keen intellect or a longer lifespan or the resistance of certain cancers, you did not do anything. You are just, and again, where you're born and how old you are at a time, that's you. Now you can alter it. You could, you know, do the things to change it. Like, I saw a sign the other day, so braces, $5,000. I used to believe it costs more. I think so. I'm not sure. But for $5,000, I can get braces and get some Camrons. Well, no, I don't think Camron, if you know Camron, Killer Cam. I just think he got like new teeth. But it just looks different because he smiles differently. He kind of looks like one. I'm not making fun of the guy, but it just looks different because I've known him this way. But it almost feels like it just looks different. And there was a study showing that people gravitate to people who smile. Starbucks, at some point, don't know if it's still in their policy, they hire on the basis of if you naturally smile, have an appealing smile. Now, you're not going to get a Colgate commercial if your teeth are jacked up, because it's bad for business. But all that, most people don't do that on their own. Your parents kind of force you, or you're just born with good genetics. Here was a good example, right? So this is in the book. He was saying people think everyone things should be fair. But argument 1097, if two construction workers are working, one construction worker is like built like the Hulk. So he could like build houses in a minute. All right, he could build houses really fast. And then over here is Scrawny Ted. And Scrawny Ted works hard, man. But it takes him like 10 years to build one house. And now he works hard, so it's effortless for the Hulk guy because he's just a big guy. He was born big, big boned. Whereas Ted is like strenuously, tirelessly sweating. Like, you see he's working hard. So should he get more on the merit because he works harder? Or do we give more to Hulk because you see where this goes, man? Like, I just finished a book like maybe 30 minutes ago. My brain is just like thinking of all the instances where this plays out. Money, power, respect, how it's distributed. How, when we say it's unfair, what we're meaning is we believe the rules that are in place now should be changed so we benefit from it. Because I don't know many people who are going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to get this, I'm going to be disadvantaged because it's not fair for other people. Like, I'm a really fast runner because my mom was a runner, my dad was a runner, my whole generation was a runner. But I'm gonna run slower because this person, like, who does that? Now, we may be misguided because certain institutions, schools, locations will have you feeling that you're not supposed to use your natural talents. It may make you suppress it. You see this in like old gospel singers. I think there was a show on BET. I didn't watch it because, you know, I don't be watching BET like that. But she was a hooker. No, she was a stripper. But she had a beautiful voice. And the mom, this is only based on the advertisement. And the mom was like, but she ain't gonna be singing in here. But then the guy was like, but she has a voice and she deserves to share it. So here again, money, power, respect. Maybe the mom had to work really hard. Dreamgirls, remember Dreamgirls? So Beyonce's character, she looked good, but she was But then the other one, Hudson character, she was not as pretty. I think she was pretty, but this goes into another issue, but we'll keep it. So she didn't get to be in the front, and Beyonce's character would just, I didn't know what was going on. She believed her husband. But we see this happening today. So this book is 2009, had a big thing about abortion. And we know what just happened recently. Because basically it was keep politics and moral, religious ideas separate. And, oh man. I don't know much about politics because I don't care for it. But maybe I should. Maybe I wouldn't change much. But Kennedy, he said something like, he said in a speech, something to the effect of, Americans are, this is back when he was alive, but he was saying that our GDP, gross domestic product, was like at 6 billion or something. But it doesn't include, and it was a powerful speech, or the way he set it up, you know, speech writers. Yeah, we got $6 billion in GDP, which is kind of like the measuring stick of a country's progress or whatever. Yeah, we got this big number over here, but that doesn't include the pollution from it. It doesn't include the violent movies that are promoted to our kids to get them to buy the toys. Like, that hasn't changed. In fact, it seemed like it has intensified. And he got shot, assassinated, maybe. But, and then the argument of that his time was he was a Catholic. And it was like, if he's a Catholic, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, and then Vietnam. I might get the dates wrong. But it's just like, at any point in time, there was always some strong debate about something people are posing, but it kind of boils down to money, power, respect. Here's one. In the military, I don't know if it changed, but in the military, you get a Purple Heart if you're wounded in war. With the Purple Heart comes prestige, respect, honor. But at some point, some people are like, they were psychologically damaged in war. So no physical defects. And there was a debate. I don't know what happened with this, because this book's 2009, so it might have changed. But they were saying that people with emotional defects are not eligible to get this award because they need to just man up and grow a pair, is what they said. But then it comes down to the perception. But yeah, man, really interesting topic. But I don't know if I'm gonna go deeper, because next thing you know, I'm gonna dye my beard white, be like an old philosopher, be super weird, which isn't my aim. My aim is just to live peacefully amongst people, you know. I don't know if that's possible either, because we all have different reasons for doing what we do, and they sometimes collide. Like if I became super famous, right? Boom. And I'm saying what I'm saying, I would have a stronger influence or bigger reach. People might not want me putting these ideas in people, because it may undo their power structure. Like if you somehow was able to reach a whole bunch of a stable of women who work for a pimp, and you just got them cleaned up and you got their minds refreshed, and they're like, you know what, you do not need da 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 da, he would be out of business. He'd be a little bit upset. Might have to come after you, but as my therapist would say, but that's illegal. Yeah, but it happens, and it's a reality. It's a gray zone thing. Shit, if you went after like any cigarette company, they probably would do something to make it not happen so much. Counter arguments, dig up some shit in your family, like they do in politics. Hey, look at that commercial. Make it count, Jack Daniels. What if that commercial or ad would be, read a book, make it count? But who would read it? Books are boring and they make you fall asleep. But sleep is good for you. Anyway, thank you for watching. Remember, next Tuesday, wow, we had 37 seconds or minutes. But yeah, next Tuesday will be the last live stream. For now, we'll see how that goes. Be safe, enjoy your weekend, and check out the Justice book by Sandels. What's his first name? Well, Justice by Sandels. Michael, I think. Michael Sandels. Get the audiobook or find like the easy read version. It's interesting. All right, peace.